The mirror did not forget. Richard did. At least, that's what he told himself. Because when Sandra turned from the glass, her expression calm, her movements fluid and natural, there was no sign anything had happened at all. No hesitation, miss. Only her. "Did you say something?" she asked. Richard forced a smile. "No." But his eyes drifted, just briefly, to the mirror. It reflected them both perfectly now. Too perfect. That day, the clocks resumed their quiet rebellion. Not loud, not chaotic. Worse, coordinated. They began to agree again, but not with the world. At 2:17, every clock in the shop stopped. Not staggered, not broken. Stopped. At once. Richard stood in the center of the room listening to the absence, because silence, he understood. Silence meant something had ended. A knock came at the door, sharp, measured, expected. Richard didn't move at first. Knock came again. Same rhythm, same spacing, like a clock that had learned how to knock. When he opened the door, the street outside felt thinner, like something had been peeled away, and a woman stood there, older. Her face lined not with age, but with something heavier. Grief, perhaps, or time itself. "You fixed my husband," she said. Richard's throat tightened. "I don't..." "Yes," she interrupted softly, "you do." She stepped inside without waiting, and as she crossed the threshold, every clock in the shop ticked once, together. "My husband died 3 years ago," she continued. Her voice was calm, too calm. "But last week, he came home." Richard said nothing. He couldn't. "He sat at the table," she said. "He spoke to me. He ate. And he laughed." Her hands trembled slightly. "But he didn't breathe." The clocks began ticking again. Slow, heavy, like something dragging itself forward. "I watched him sleep," she whispered, "and I realized..." A pause, a long, deliberate pause. He wasn't dreaming. Richard stepped back. "I didn't bring anyone back," he said. The words sounded hollow, even to him. The woman tilted her head, not unnaturally, just enough. "To you," she said, "what is the difference?" She reached into her bag and placed something on the counter. It was a pocket watch, old and cracked, stopped at 2:17. "He stopped again yesterday," she said, "and this time..." Her eyes met his. "He took something with him." The air in the shop shifted, not colder, denser, like it was remembering something it shouldn't. Richard looked down at the watch, felt it, the same pull, that same falling sensation. But this time, he saw it. A room, not his, not hers. A child, standing in a doorway, calling for someone who would never answer. Richard jerked back. The vision snapped. The woman was already at the door. "You don't fix time," she said quietly. "You fracture it." Then she was gone. That night, Sandra did not come to bed. Richard found her in the shop, standing among the clocks, listening again. "They're clearer now," she said, her back to him, her voice distant. "They're not broken." Richard approached slowly. "What are they saying?" Sandra tilted her head, as if listening harder, as if tuning something just out of reach. "They're counting," she whispered. A pause, and then, "They're counting me." The clock surged, ticking faster, louder, building towards something. Richard grabbed her arm. "Sandra, we need to leave." She turned, and this time, there was no flicker, no delay, but something else was wrong. Her eyes, they were focused on him perfectly, but behind them, something deeper was looking through. "You shouldn't have brought me back," she said. The voice was hers. The meaning was not. The clock stopped, all of them. And in that perfect, suffocating stillness, the figure appeared again, closer than ever before, standing right beside Sandra. Not behind, not separate, with her. "You begin to understand," it said. Richard's voice broke. "I gave you what you wanted." The figure tilted its head. "No," it replied. For the first time, it smiled. "You gave us entry." Sandra's hand tightened in his, too tight, cold, unyielding. "The debt," the figure continued softly, "is no longer yours alone." Behind them, every clock in the shop reset at once. You guessed it, to 2:17. And then they began to count down.